Welcome to Season 3 of You Are Your Name. In this season, we're asking a Caballerian name consultant various questions on balanced names. Our guest today is Doria Delane. She's a Caballerian name consultant at the Society of Caballerians. Thank you for joining us, Doria.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So the question today is, once I start using a balanced name, what is the consequence of using a nickname?
Well, every name has a mathematical vibration. And once you have chosen a balanced name, then it is important that you retain that name. We don't recommend that you use a nickname because it can throw off the balance of the full balanced name between your first name and last name. So if you're changing your name, it is best if you establish the correct name. And if individuals or family or friends say, oh, let's just shorten your name, just establish with them that it's important to you. You're changing your name because you want to change your life. You're changing your name for a reason. And so you would really appreciate it if you could just call me by the new name or by the specific name that was selected. Because too many names create a changing vibration. You establish that clear connection to your fully balanced name.
I have some nieces, and even though their name's very short, their parents just call them by the first syllable. So Jenna becomes Jen, and Megan becomes Meg. And again, that creates a whole different direction to their life because now they go by a different name vibration. And often the nickname can be quite destructive.
Absolutely. Once you are really reached by the power of a name and the importance, you'll want to take ownership for your own vibration in your life. And so have the confidence and realize how important it is. And you won't look back if you can change and make that established, balanced name the one that you're always using. And you're actually taking more ownership for your life. You're not allowing others to mold influences, because there is a difference between a balanced name and an unbalanced name. And this is why you've made this decision. So really, nicknames are not beneficial.
So, Doria, just as an example of how a nickname would influence a legal name, I have three nieces. Let's start with Megan, who's the oldest. Her name is spelled Meghan, but she goes by the nickname of Meg, Meg. So how would the nickname affect her personality? Because that's what she's using consistently.
Well, it will certainly change her personality depending on how much she uses the nickname. They're quite opposite in their influence, actually. Megan is much more outgoing and expressive and a little more conservative in her nature, but she would find that she's got a strong sense of responsibility, but she has this caring quality. So with that sense of responsibility, there's a desire to help and give to other people. And she's very musical, expressive, artistic, creative, very good in administration work, as long as she doesn't have to handle all the details. She would rather direct other people. But she's an uplifting, energetic type of nature and very outgoing. But sometimes the instability can spoil her complete follow through in her plans and decisions. Whereas if she gets nicknamed Meg, you'll find at certain times you expect the same outgoing, expressive, spontaneous nature from her. And if something just hits her the wrong way, she can be quite curt in her response or just indifferent and just a little more reserved, a little more silent, not as communicative. And it's because the name creates a vulnerability within her to bring out more of a sensitive, shy, cautious nature. It is truly a much more reserved influence, but it does bring out a questioning, a desire for discovery, a desire to know. It's a little perhaps stronger philosophical interest, but it creates such a separation from people that she will feel like she's two different people. Sometimes she's very warm and outgoing and expressive, and then other times she's withdrawn and sensitive and cautious and just hides. And so it's really quite a conflict, and it creates a mental confusion for a person.
How about Jenna, Jenna, going by the nickname of Jen?
Well, once again, the two names are very opposite. Jenna is a more practical person, and she takes on responsibility very quickly and easily. In fact, she has a bigger perspective in wanting to be in positions of leadership and manage other people. She likes to be the bottom line in the decisions and not just go along with ideas. She has her own strong viewpoints and opinions, and very practical and logical person, and very good in finances. And she sees the bigger picture of how details can fit in. And she's very good at organizing her own life and directly organizing other people. That would be her strengths, really. But it does have an influence where a person can, particularly a female, become a little too materialistic and sacrifices sometimes the more gentler side of her nature and the blending and the merging with other people because of the strong sense of responsibility and commitment to her goals and ideals. She's striving for perfection, and so she's demanding on herself and can be demanding on other people. Whereas if she gets called Jen to any degree, she'll find that she will have a little softer side to her nature, and sometimes she'll be in a situation and she'll question her decisions. So she'll listen to other people to try to get the right result through working with people rather than relying strictly on her own decisions and plans. But once again, the quality of the name has a conflict, and it tends to cause a person to be insecure, and it brings a procrastination out. So sometimes she'll give her word, but doesn't always follow through with it, and always looking for maybe the easier way to accomplish rather than relying upon her own skills. And so it spoils individuality of mind. It spoils the self-confidence that the name of Jenna would strengthen for her. So it really creates a dual personality, and it doesn't allow her the freedom and the fullness for the expression of her inner potential, which should be the natural expression through her birth date.
The last niece is Hillary, and she went by the nickname of Hill, H-I-L. How does that change?
Well, once again, you've got people that have very contrasting combination in their names, because Hillary is very independent, strong-willed, and always striving to sort of just be self-creative and not worry about what other people think of her. And you'll find that this independent quality tends to make her want to work on her own, and very good with her hands, very self-creative, with more leadership roles in her life. Whereas if she gets Hill, H-I-L, all of a sudden this idealism that she has of wanting to help people will come out that much more in a softer way. But there's a tendency to merge and blend and not stand up for yourself. And so it spoils the confidence within a person and makes them a little more passive, much more easygoing and indifferent. And so it actually does limit her strength of mind and her focus in her efforts.
Would you say generally nicknames create confusion in a person's life because they now have two influences in their
Yeah,
makeup?
that's right. And to the degree that it's used, it will reflect such a contrast that it does create the conflict. And so we don't recommend that a person use nicknames. Sometimes a person can shorten their name and it has the same vibration. And it has then the natural flow for a person's thought pattern. But generally, you will find a person will feel like they're a dual nature when they start using a nickname, because it creates a conflict and a contrast to the strengths of the pure quality of the legal name.
So the best thing is to have a balanced name and forego the nicknames.
That's right. Well, we certainly want a person to have fulfillment in their life. And if we don't understand where our thoughts come from, we don't understand why we have certain qualities, how can we find that fulfillment in our life? And so, alluding to the thought of what is a balanced name, how can a name influence? You realize that a name tunes us to a vibrational level of thinking. And so if that level of thinking is not in harmony with our true potential, then there is a conflict. So the balanced name is a mathematical balanced energy to allow the natural flow for your inner potential created by your birth date.
Thank you, Doria. Appreciate your clarification on that. Next week, we're going to deal with a question on how can a balanced name assist my children, particularly if they have unbalanced names causing challenges in their lives. And that'll be by another office member, Marlo Shearing. So thanks again for participating, Doria, and we'll talk to you in another episode.
Thank you.
If you have not already done so, get your own free name report from our website at www.cabellarians.com. That's KABALARIANS.com. Once you have a name report, you can speak with a Cabellarian name consultant directly and get answers to your specific questions on your names and how they're impacting your life. The contact information is in the report. Until next time, happy thoughts. Whenever you're ready, here are 3 ways we can help you. Number 1, the Balanced Name Recommendation Service. Join the thousands of others who have harmonized their names with their inner potential to improve their health, happiness, and success. Number 2, learn the principles of mental freedom. Participate in our online training program to gain the essential tools to create all the progressive changes you seek in your life. These proven truths will open up new perspectives and accelerate your attainment of health, happiness, and success. Number 3, let Kalex Solutions help you choose a balanced name for your business, because many business names are an impediment to one's overall business success.